Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time of day it is. Hello. It is Tuesday, July 21st, 2026 for me. I'm 27 years old and it's me, Jordan. Hello. I opened up my YouTube this morning and saw that I had received a comment from someone asking for me to talk about friendship and how to find your true friends, or I'd love to hear about friendship, how to find your true people. I feel like I'm not going to have clear step-by-step advice on this because my experience with friendship has been interesting. I have very core friends. I don't have tons and tons of friends in my life. I mean, I have people in my life that I'm friendly with, but I would say my friends are like, I'm very close to them and I have a small circle personally. But the first thing that came to mind with this, like how to find your true people, I think the first thing that came to mind is number one, you need to know who you are and what's important to you and what you value. And the best sort of friendships are going to be the ones with people who share similar values. And if you don't share the same values, it's going to be hard to be friends with those people. You can still be friendly with them, but you probably won't relate on all the same sort of things because you share different values. You see the world differently. So I feel like that is the foundation for it all, is you have to know yourself and what really, really matters to you and try to find people who share those similar values. Because what I've found to be true for me is I have some different interests from my friends, but we share a lot of the same core values. So if there's differences in personalities, if there's differences in interests or hobbies or work or whatever, those things just don't really matter as much. They actually add more texture to the friendship and make it interesting. Whereas if you don't share the same values, that creates complications. And that's true for any sort of relationship that you're in. If it's friendships, if it's a romantic relationship with someone, that's the foundation of it all, is what's your North Star? What is your guiding light? What matters to you the most? What are those non-negotiable values that you hold near and dear? And it's not that you have to, do some sort of interview with a potential friend and be like, so do you value the same sort of things? But you've got to kind of figure out, like, do you? Do you value the same sort of things? And if you don't, it's just going to be harder for that friendship to thrive. But my experience with friendships and finding friends has been so interesting. I feel like it's different for every person. I have a tendency to be more introverted. And when I was younger, I was typically pretty shy. Sometimes I can still be a little shy. So just thinking back to childhood, because childhood is where I formed a lot of my friendships. I was kind of shy. Okay, let's just backtrack to when I was born. I was born into a friend group because of my older sister and the neighborhood that we lived in. So I formed these friendships with these people almost like I was just born into it. I don't know. They were I don't know, kind of like family. They're kind of like family to me because I've just known them forever. But I ended up becoming friends with some people because of my sister, because she is a few years older than me. And in this neighborhood we lived in, we moved in when she was 4.5. I wasn't born yet, but she befriended two sisters down the road from us, a couple houses over, who are still our closest friends today. So I was born into this friend group. they still remember me being a crying, screaming baby. And I don't even remember when I first met them. I just have always known them. So they are kind of like my sisters in that way. And we have a really great friend group, the four of us sisters. It's like so interesting. It's so cool to me. That's like I don't know, that's just so special. Two sets of sisters that have been friends for forever, pretty much. So that's what I mean when I say, like, I had a weird time meeting, like, making friends with people because it was just such a unique situation. Most of the time, it was me finding friends because of my sister. And I tended to hang out with her and her friends who were older than me, in the neighborhood and at church. And I was always kind of like the little sister, just like following along. So I did make friends because of her. And then I also, looking back to like kindergarten, that's where I met one of my closest friends. And it simply was proximity. We sat near each other because our last names both started with L. And we just became best friends since day one. I was like, I don't know, I can't even remember how we became friends. I don't know who said it, but we were just like, let's be friends. And then we were friends ever since. And I made friends at school just by proximity. And some of those friendships faded over the years, and I'm not like close with everyone that I once knew through, elementary school, middle school, and high school. But a couple of those friendships have stayed, and yeah, I feel like I just became I made friends with people because of proximity, being in school, meeting people through church. I feel like that's the way you do it, is like proximity. It's location. It's where you are physically. And like, because I went to church with my family, I ended up making friends at church, because the more you go to church, the more you're around the same sort of people. Again, it's proximity, and it's just like whoever you kind of connect with. And some of those friendships faded over the years. Like I don't have I don't have like a roster of like friends. I have a small core group that I always come back to. And I do think it's interesting, the concept of like making friends in adulthood. I I find that very interesting because I don't really know. I think it's like kind of a weird thing for a lot of people. But I think that it comes back to common values. You meet people that you have strong, core values, that you share those values with, and then that, I think, forms the deepest sort of friendships. But you can also make friends through common interests. Like, I would imagine, this is like not a situation that I've been in, but I would imagine if you pick up some sort of hobby, like maybe you get really into like skateboarding or roller skating or anything like that, you're gonna end up in circles where people are doing those same sort of things. Like, let's say, for instance, you get really into roller skating. You're gonna end up either at the roller rink somewhere and you're gonna go there regularly, or you're gonna go roller skate around like outside on different trails or in your neighborhood or something. Like, you're gonna, with interests like that, you're going to be out in the world, and then you're typically going to end up in an environment where you are with people who share the same interest, and then that's maybe something that you can bond over. And that's maybe how you make good connections in adulthood, is based in common interests. But I think the strongest, most lasting friendships are the ones that share the same values at the core, because that's going to outlast everything else. Maybe one day you lose interest in roller skating. Maybe you'll lose those friends that you made in that circle because you don't have the same values that bind you together. You were just bonding over a shared interest. And then when that interest faded, you kind of drifted apart. So I'm in it for the long haul. I want friendships that are really deep and true and long lasting. So that's my motivation. That's my goal. But yeah, friendships is such an interesting topic. I think that's the thing that binds it all, though. The strongest friendships are centered around the same values. So get clear on who you are and your values, and then put yourself out there more in a situation, in environments where you can maybe meet people with similar interests. Maybe you like to hike. Go on hiking trails with, like, bring a friend with you. Don't go alone. I don't think that might be sketchy, but go with a friend. Go with someone like your mom or your cousin or your aunt, or I don't know. Bring someone with you. Go hiking. Do it regularly. The more you do something, the more you're going to see the same sort of faces, and maybe you'll strike up conversation. Maybe you'll form connections, and maybe it'll like blossom into a flourishing friendship. I want to return to this question again, though, just to make sure. How to find your true people? I think I answered it. You got to have certain values that you hold true and near and dear to yourself, and then you bond with people who share those same values. But yeah, I think for me, the way I have formed friendships throughout my entire life, it hasn't really been me putting myself out there for the most part. It's typically been because I know someone who knows someone. I mean, my friend that I met in kindergarten, that was proximity, and that was us just kind of bonding and being like, we're going to be best friends, because you're in kindergarten. But I've made friends because of friends that I had. I've made friends because they're friends with my boyfriend, So you just kind of meet people along the way, and maybe not all friendships are the same, and not all friendships are as deep. And I think sometimes some friendships are only for a season of life, and maybe they fade, and it's not that there's bad blood, it's just that you grow into two different zones, and it doesn't last. But something I've had to come to terms with personally is that it's okay that I have made friendships because of other people in my life. Like, I have those two sisters that I met when I was a baby. I was only friends with them because my sister was, and I was born into the little friend group, that that is like so crazy. But that was something that I struggled with a little bit mentally, being like, I've only ever really made friends because of other people for the most part, because of my sister, or because a friend of mine knew someone that I also vibed with, or because my boyfriend knew someone, and that was kind of hard for me because I felt like there was something wrong with me. I was like, I'm not social enough. I don't put myself out there enough to meet people. And I only ever meet people because I already know someone who knows someone. And that made me feel like there was something wrong with me. But I realized that it's not that big of a deal. It's actually okay. It's actually okay because different people play different roles, and it's nothing against me. It's fine that I've acquired friends because I knew the right sort of people who knew the right sort of people. That's fine. It's really not a big deal. I think about one of my friends who is so social and so extroverted and loves being around other people. She is someone who I would refer to as a connector. She is going to connect this person that she knows with this person that she knows over here, and they're going to become friends, or they're going to become partners and get married. She has introduced multiple couples to each other that ended up getting married. She's that type of person. And I'm like, that's a strength for her. She's a connector of people. I'm not really a connector in that way because I'm not social like that, and I'm not so extroverted that I know a million people. Like she knows like a million people. Like she will make friends with anyone. I don't make friends with anyone. I make friends with a select few, and my circle is small. So I think that's part of it for me. The whole concept of friendship is like being okay with who I am in that role. Like there are connectors, and then there are the people who get connected by the connectors. And sometimes like I've been that person. I'm the connected. I be connected by the connectors. I don't really put myself out there in social environments to make friends. I'm not that type of person. So yeah, it's like I said at the start, you got to know who you are and you got to know your values. And going into a friendship, that's going to help you spot the right sort of people for you, and that's going to help you form the strongest sort of friendships, I think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on this topic that I'd like to share, but maybe that's it for now. Keep it concise. I think that's it. I think that's it for now. All right. Wishing you a beautiful day. And beautiful, lifelong, true, incredible friendships that you acquire along the way, that you build along the way. That's another thing to do with friendships. It requires more than one person. It requires two people. Or if you're in a friend group, it requires everyone in the friend group to build together, to put forth effort for each other, and to keep the friendship alive. I think, okay, I'm not signing off yet because that's something I would like to say. That is how you have to keep a friendship alive by treating it like a plant that you water and that you nourish and that you supply nutrients for. It's the same sort of thing. A friendship will wither and die if you don't put forth effort, and if other people in the friendship don't put forth effort. But also, to add to that, like I was saying before, you got to know who you are in the friend group or in the friendship. Some people in a friendship or in a friend group are the people who reach out all the time and want to make that effort to hang out. And some people in the friend group or the friendship don't reach out as much. And you got to know who you're working with. You got to know who you're rocking with. You got to know your people, because I've been this person. I'm speaking from experience that sometimes I'm the one that reaches out. I'm the one that's putting forth effort to be like, hey, let's get something on the calendar. Because really, it's so easy to get caught up in your day-to-day life that you just kind of forget. It's not that you forget about your people, but it's kind of like, I'm busy. I've got work. I've got a child. I've got this and that. I've got my husband. I've got so much going on my plate. Some people are just better about reaching out, and some people don't reach out as much. I'm speaking from experience here because I think this is an important thing, because we live in a society where today some people in a friendship will see that behavior as a sign that that person just doesn't want to be friends with me. I'm the one putting forth effort all the time to reach out and to make plans work and all this stuff, and they never reach out. And what I'm saying here is use discernment and discretion, because this is not a one-size-fits-all thing. Because sometimes, yes, maybe if someone's not putting forth any effort in a friendship, then it's like, okay, maybe we should go our separate ways. Maybe this is just me trying to make a friendship work and you don't really care that much for me. So like, let's just let it fade away. Maybe. But I think sometimes you just got to keep pursuing a friendship because they matter to you that much. Okay, here's what I'm trying to say. I am in a friend group where I sometimes, most of the time, and I'm one of the people that reaches out to hang out. And there's people in the friend group that don't reach out as much. Sometimes they do, but it's very rare. It's very rare. But you have to know who you are as a person, and you have to know who you are in the friend group, because I tend to be more of a planner. I'll go with the flow on some things, but I like to plan things out in advance. I like to get something on my calendar so that I know, all right, 2 weeks out, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be hanging out. A month from now, we've got something on the calendar. I want to have stuff on the calendar because I know people in this friend group have so much going on in their lives, and I don't have nearly as much going on in my life. So I have space and time to like think about these things, and I plan, and I think that that is totally fine. And I don't see it as a sign that they don't care and that they don't want to be friends with me and that they don't love me, because I know my people. I know who I am in the friend group, and I know my people, and I know that they love me. And I know maybe they're just not as great at planning, and that's okay. That's what I'm getting at here. You have to know yourself, and you have to know your people. And I just, my belief is like, just keep pursuing people. Like, it's hard because like it's not one size fits all, but that's been my experience. It's like, I know the people that I'm friends with, and not all of them are great at thinking ahead and planning ahead. They're maybe good at planning ahead with other things, but when it comes to like hanging out with friends, they kind of are just, maybe they're spacey, maybe they're too busy with other things. I'm the one who like, I will keep pursuing you and this friendship, and I will try to water this plant. And it's okay that you don't plan as much as I do, or it's okay that you don't reach out as much as I do. I just don't take offense to that anymore. I think I used to when I was younger, but now I'm just like, that's really okay, because every person is different. Every person is different. Every person has different strengths and weaknesses. And as long as you know that your friend really does love you and cares, if they don't reach out as much as you do, it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's just not going to matter that much. It's like I said, you have to know who you are, and you have to know your people. You have to know your role in the friendship and in the friend group. And if this is something that genuinely bothers you, if you're in a friendship where you're like, I am the only one who reaches out and they never reach out, and you really, really feel a type of way about it, talk to them about it. Bring it to their attention and be like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I feel like I reach out a lot to make plans, and I feel like you don't really do that as much, and I just kind of want to see if we're on the same page. Do you want to keep rocking with me and being my friend, or is this something that you just don't have time for, or is it just a miscommunication? Because sometimes, man, miscommunications can seriously ruin a friendship. Just bring it up and talk to them if it's something that bothers you that much. But for me personally, that is something that I just don't care as much about anymore. Because I'm like, I reach out, I plan, I make plans. I also know that about me and my relationship with my boyfriend. That's another example. I'm more of a planner. He's not. And I don't think that's a slight against him. In fact, I think we make each other better, because he has taught me a little bit how to like go with the flow and not plan every single thing. And I've taught him the importance of planning things out in advance and actually like, thinking forward. So we make each other better. And I think that's the same kind of thing that can apply to a friendship or a friend group. So yeah, I think that's the end of my spiel. There's probably so much more I could talk about with friendships and stuff like this. But yeah, I think the key is know yourself, know your people, know your roles, all of your roles in whatever friendship or friend group. And the best, most lasting, successful sort of friendships are going to be the ones based on common values. Sometimes common interests, but common values definitely. Common values are going to be the foundation. So that's that. That's my spiel on friendship. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and I'll check back in later. Bye.